Hey loves, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. My name is Ebubeokoye. This channel is kind of new here. This is actually my third video here on this channel. You may or you may not know, but firstly I want to say a big thank you for all the engagement, the likes, the shares, the subscribes in my previous video. Let's keep it going, guys. The energy needs to be secured at all costs. We need to secure this energy. Okay, so please kindly feel free to drop all your relocation questions, comments, assumptions down in the comment section, and I'll sure be addressing them later on in a Q&A. So just play your part and crash the comment box. If you know you have not subscribed till this point, till now, how did that offend you? Why are you holding my growth on this platform? Please now, stop forgetting, just do it now. Okay, some seconds for you. Done. Okay, let's get into the tea for today. So like I said in my previous video about this video, that I'm going to be sharing and highlighting some points, to avoid mistakes, to avoid while you're trying to relocate, while you just newly moved to a new state, environment, whatever, or even if you've been in Lagos, because it's basically about Lagos. Although it should apply to many other states or any other state, tell if you're moving to a faraway land, it should still apply. So this video should be helpful to basically everybody. Point number one, housing. I can't overemphasize on this point. I already did that in my previous video, but I'm still going to be highlighting many other points. There are still a lot to consider about housing before you take up the house, move into the house. You want to be sure of the house you want to move into. The big question here is how. If you can't see the house in person, please make sure you do a thorough video call. Emphasis on thorough video call to show the interior, outside the house, the environment, the streets. If you can get someone trusted, and I don't mean agents, do not depend on agents. If you can get someone trusted, maybe a relative or friend that is already based in where you want to relocate to help you check out the house, make sure you check out the landscape of the house you want to move into, because guys, flooding is real in Lagos. You do not want to be scooping water in your apartment during rainy season, and people that live close to the canal, they suffer this a lot. Landscape or no landscape, good landscape or bad landscape, they have flooding issue. So what do you consider about landscape? Please make sure that the landscape is not slanting. Make sure it is upward. Make sure it is higher than the drainage system. Just let somebody that is aware of these things help you to check them out. Because when I relocated to Lagos, I didn't know anything about landscape. In fact, I just did not know I needed to check it. You also want to consider social amenities. Of course, there has to be water, there has to be light, there has to be good roads. Yeah, you do not want to be paying bills that you are not aware of. You do not want to get into a house and they're telling you a story that we have accumulated bills over the years, please bring money, let us pay off before we can have life. You want to be sure that there is electricity in the house before you move in. So you have to find ways to find out about that. See, there is no shortcut to relocation. You have to be thorough so you don't regret. Another thing you want to consider under housing and environs is the safety. You do not want to encounter thefts, street fights, and we don't want to hear that. Especially when you're going to be coming back at night often. You have to be sure that the streets, the environment is safe for you. Another thing you have to make sure you do, still under housing, is to have an official agreement. Guys, do not pay for an apartment and just fold your hands and move in just like that. You have to make sure you get an official agreement. If you can contact the landlord, if you can get in touch with the caretaker, also make sure in a friendly way that you get an official agreement from your flatmates, in case if you're going to be moving into a shared flat or even a shared apartment. Basically, if you're moving into someone, like someone is already the owner of that apartment or the flat and wants to rent out a space, you may want to get an official agreement from that person, because guys, people can be evil. Person can wake up one day and ask you to leave the house. Now you may have proof of payment, but then nobody can really intervene because it's not really official. Like, even if you take it to court, there's you don't have enough evidence to work with, so you want to consider having an official agreement. Point number 2, if possible, avoid emergency relocation. Now, in my own case, I relocated to Lagos and I started work 2 days after. I really did not like that idea, but it was beyond my control. I wished I had no time to understand the new state, understand the environment, understand the street, understand the rush hour, the road connections, if there could be any shortcut. I understood that later on, but it was a bit late. I really wish I understood it earlier. It would have saved me a lot of stress. Point number 3, do not let a lot of people know that you just relocated. In fact, do not let unnecessary people know that you just relocated. If possible, that includes your employer. I'm not saying you should go ahead to lie to your employer, but if it's possible that you do not let them know, if it's not necessary that they know, if you've been based in Lagos or that state that you just newly relocated to, then please do not let them know, because out of my experience, man, there are mean employers and they can actually feel like you're at their mercy. I don't know the connection. I don't really understand the connection between a new relocatee and, the way they treat you. But I don't know, it just feels that way. So basically, generally, do not trust easily. You don't want people to sell you in Lagos. You don't want to be sold. You don't want to go missing. So keep that to yourself. Point number 4, language barrier. Now in Lagos, Yoruba is one of the generic languages. But basically, if you get to know an environment or a scenario where your own generic language is not being spoken often, or basically a scenario where a language that you do not understand is being spoken, please do not just let start that. I don't understand this language. Oh, you want to be sold for 10 kobo. Do not do that. Be smart. You can simply take yourself out of situations that have to expose you. Just do not do that. But it's always interesting, to learn new languages. Like right now, I'm a badass in Yoruba. So that was actually one good thing about relocating to a new state where a different language is being spoken, and just a state that has a different kind of culture. Like, I really find it interesting and I love how I'm learning Yoruba. So you might want to learn the language. Not difficult. Point number 5, money. Be prudent with money. You need to have emergency cash as well. Point number 6, be vigilant and be street smart. Guys, Lagos is a vast place, so you have to be extra careful. If you're coming from a place where you can easily walk out, walking, go out with large sum of money, take calls at night when you're walking on the streets, guys, don't do that in Lagos. Do not do that. I've had cases where I was just walking, like coming back from work, because I used to do evening and night shift. So I'll be coming back from work at night and I'll be taking a call. People will be screaming at me, Shebi, you don't like your phone? Shebi, you don't like this your phone? If nobody had to tell me, rising up, this is Lagos. So you do not want to be that. You have to be extra careful with your belongings, especially when you're outside. Secure yourself first. Secure your house keys, secure your bags, your phones. Make sure that you're vigilant. Do not just walk out and walk in without thinking that anything could be up. And also, when you're in a new environment, please do not start overshowing yourself with money, anything. Do not just start overshowing yourself. Be a little low-key, because you don't want to get into trouble. You don't want to be a victim of anything. I don't want to mention it, but just do not be a victim. Be low-key. Just keep it down for a little while, okay? Point number 7, make new friends. It doesn't have to be too many, but do not be closed up, guys. Friends can save you any day, anytime. So make sure that you make good friends, hang out with people, connect with people, gist, chat, know people, and let people get to know you. Now, point number 8, which is the last point: understand the rush hour. Guys, traffic can be mad in Lagos. I actually did not encounter traffic during my 1 year of internship. The whole 1 year, I did not really experience traffic, especially my day-to-day work activity. I did not encounter traffic because my workplace was actually, one, very close to my house. I could trek it, and then secondly, I knew shortcuts to get to my workplace, so I didn't have to, get into the traffic and all of that. But if you're going to be relocating, please, before you take up that job, you might want to consider traffic, and before you get an apartment, you might want to consider traffic. But it's something that is kind of inevitable. Like, you can't say, oh, because of traffic I'm not going to put food on my table. So if it's something that you can manage, don't manage it. People have to work, okay? But if it's something that you can, that is inevitable, maybe you just have to manage it. But you have to be aware of the traffic before you move in and before you take up that job. Understanding the rush hour is very important. You have to know that usually around 7 a.m. some major roads usually have rush hours. So around 7 a.m. when people are leaving for work, you might encounter traffic. Then towards evening time, 4-5 p.m. people are coming back from work, there could also be traffic. So you have to keep that in your mind, okay? So guys, that's it for this video. Please do not forget to drop your comments in the comment section, like, share, subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, do well to let your neighbor know about it. Do well to let your sister or brother that is trying to relocate know about this video. Share the good news, basically. Thank you for watching. I can't wait to see your comments in the comment section. Love you guys. Bye.